welcome to the 2020 prize giving. When the coronavirus first found its way into our world, the wave of fear and uncertainty was immeasurable. Each of us has felt the effects of this virus in many different ways, and we have become immersed in a world full of masks and sanitizer. Through the chaos of last year, I cannot even begin to describe just how grateful I was to have been at Redhill High School. I think I speak for the class of 2020 when I say that although we were scared, we knew that Redhill had our backs. I can think of no other institution that could have dealt with such chaos in such an organised manner. I would like to extend a huge thank you to Mr. Gerasi and Mrs. A on behalf of not only the 2020 matriculants, but also the rest of the school. Your organisation and composure in the face of unprecedented circumstances was crucial to the success of the 2020 academic year. The outstanding matric results are testament to the hard work and time you dedicated to helping us thrive. To Mr. Kingma, our beloved grade head, your kindness, compassion, and unwavering support is what gave us the strength to endure the hardships of last year. Whether it was the hot chocolates on a stressful day, the words of advice in times of need, or simply the motivational pictures before every test or exam, we could not have gotten through this without you. You will never truly understand just how special you were to the class of 2020, and our appreciation for you is insurmountable. To the current students at Redhill, rest assured your future is in good hands. The teachers at this school are far more than merely educators. I cannot even comprehend having to learn a completely new and remote teaching style in just a few short weeks, and then being so good at it. I will always admire these teachers, for even during a global pandemic, they did and will continue to do everything in their power to make sure that the students succeed. If there is one thing that I can promise you, it's that when you eventually write your final exams, you will be so much more prepared than you think. The teachers truly do know what they're doing, and they always have your best interests at heart. Sometimes you just need to trust them. But what can you as a student do to help yourself? I've created a little list of things that I think would be quite useful to know, most of which I'm sure your teachers would have already told you before, but I'm hoping that hearing it from a fellow student might just help it resonate a bit more. Firstly, communicate with your teachers. If you're struggling with something, tell them. If you're unsure if you're on the right track, ask them to advise you. If you think you're not going to meet a deadline, try speaking to your teacher and explaining why you fell behind. I can't guarantee that you'll get an extension, but it's better than handing it in late anyways. Secondly, you need balance. You only have so many years of high school, so do your best to try and enjoy them as much as possible. Academics are important, but so are your relationships with other people, your mental and physical health, and your overall well-being. Thirdly, when it comes to projects and homework, you really should try to start them as early as possible. I'm not going to say the day you get it, because I know that this is almost impossible, but staying ahead on your work will really help you in the future when it starts to pile up. And trust me, it will. Create a note of all the small tricks that normally catch you out, and do as many past papers as you can. Even going through your own past tests and fixing on mistakes that you've made in the past will be more useful than you think. I highly recommend trying to keep copies of all of your past tests and assessments so that you can review them whenever you need. Lastly, it is so important to find methods that work for you. We all study and think differently, and sometimes the most common method might not be the most suitable one for you. Some of my friends would make summaries on A3 pieces of paper. Some would teach the content to their teddy bears. I would write my notes on my windows with non-permanent markers. Don't feel discouraged if you study differently. Just because you're not working in the same way as other people doesn't mean you're not working. I personally prefer to work alone and study alone, but it is important to note how useful it can be to work with other people. More often than not, someone else will notice something that you hadn't even thought of, and seeing it from a different perspective might be just what you need in that final test or exam. I won't lie to you, there will be many late nights and stressful moments, but remember, you are not alone. There are so many people around you that are in the exact same boat, and so many people who have come before you who have made it through just fine. Focus on maintaining a positive mindset. You may not always have control over your circumstances, but you can always control how you react to them. It might be scary and it might be hard, but I promise you'll be fine. Thank you.